All right, what's up, guys? I'm gonna try to look at the camera instead of myself. Sorry, it's like such a bad habit, but I just propped my phone up and I'm doing like a selfie style video because I wanted to get on here and just chat with you guys real quick. And I wanted to talk about something crazy that happened to us or around us a few days ago, Wednesday night actually. Some of you guys may know, but some of you guys may not know, we are in our RV. We've been living in our RV, and it helps like cut costs, and it's just easier to just be in the RV, and it works for us. We have a big deck, plenty of room. It's the same RV that we used to go on tour when we did all of our classes and all that stuff. So I love it up here. Everybody is really friendly. People have been here for years and years and years. And the cool thing about these RVs is you have decks, big decks you can build up on it, and we have a nice deck with a grill and all that stuff. So the reason I'm bringing this up is Wednesday night, which would actually have been Halloween morning, early morning at like 12:30. I was getting ready for bed. We had a nice day. We made some ribs. We were eating our ribs, had a good night. Colt went to bed. I was getting ready for bed, and then I was just like washing my face and doing my skincare and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I hear this boom, this like really loud, it almost kind of sounded like an explosion, sort of sounded like a gunshot, but to me it sounded more like explosion, like a weird bang. And then when I heard that, I remember thinking like, that's weird. And then Joe was sleeping. He passed out on the couch. And I remember I yelled at him. I was like, did you hear that? And he was like, no, like in his sleep. And then I remember thinking that's weird, but then I just figured, oh, it's probably just a raccoon. At night, there's a lot of raccoons around here, and like possums and like weird, because we're out in the woods. Like, this is the woods. There's tons of trees around. We're literally in the woods. So I just figured, oh, it was probably just like a raccoon probably just knocked something over, something big. Like somebody probably had something on their deck and it knocked it over and caused that loud boom. So I didn't think anything of it, and I just, kept brushing my teeth, washing my face. And then I was ready for bed, and then I laid in bed, in this bed right here, and then there's a window back right there. So I laid in bed, and then I was just scrolling on my phone, looking at some things, trying to wind down before I fell asleep. And then I heard that same bang really loud. And then that's when I was like, that's weird. There's no way that that's a raccoon, because that's not gonna, something was just like, okay, red flags, that's weird. So I sat up, and right here where this window is right here, there's like a blind that pulls down, and the blind is like a tan color, so it's a little bit, you can see, not see-through, but you could see stuff through it kind of. And then I kind of sat up and I looked in that direction, and through the blinds I could see like a big yellow orange glow, like it was really, really glowy. And then I was like, what the heck? So I lifted it up, and as soon as I lifted it up, I could see, so directly behind me, there's another RV, and then behind that, there's another little gravel road with RVs right there. So it's like a big circle, and it's like a big circle, and then our RV's right here, and then the other RVs are right here. But they're about like 40 feet from us, something like that. And I look over and I see a tree on fire, the whole tree, and it was just like, and also somebody's RV. The RV and the tree just on fire, just a big, giant fireball. And I was like, all right, that does not look normal. I was like, what the heck? So I ran over, I woke up Joe, and I was like, hey, I think somebody's RV is on fire. Something's on fire, And he ran over, he looked. As soon as he looked, I could see the fear on his face. He was like, call 911, and then he took off. I called 911. I told him where we were and what was going on. And he said that he went and grabbed the fire extinguisher and he ran over there. But by the time he got over there, he said somebody's entire RV was completely on fire, and a tree and everything. It was so big that the fire extinguisher really wasn't going to do anything. So he ran back and he was like, all right, try to grab anything, all the valuables, all the guns, and throw them in the car. Grab Colt. Let's get in the car. Because we were going to get in the car and then get out of the RV park, because in the RV park there's a lot of pine needles. Everyone has decks. RVs themselves, they burn up quick and they catch fire quick, because it's just made out of a lot of like stuff that can catch on fire. And As soon as he said that, I was like thinking, all right, obviously the first thing I grabbed was Colt, and then I put Colt in the car, put him in the car seat, strapped him up, everything. And then I ran in, I grabbed my concealed carry gun, because I leave it in the closet, ready to go, loaded in the holster right there when I go to bed, so Colt can't reach it. And then I grabbed that, put that on me, grabbed my extra magazines, I grabbed my my purse that has like my wallet and my ID and all that stuff. I grabbed my computer, and then I was like, as I was putting that in, Joe was grabbing some stuff too. And then we look over, and then as I'm going in and out, I look over and I could just see that spot where that fire started. It grew within a matter of a couple minutes of doing all that. It grew huge, like it spread, and now like three RVs and multiple trees were on fire, and it was like 30 feet away from us. And all you could see from where I was standing on my deck looking the other way, all I could see was just a giant wall. I couldn't see the sky anymore. All I could see was just fire, a giant fireball, orange. It was really, really orange, like bright orange, and then tons of smoke. Like the smoke, there was so much smoke, it was filling the sky with this dark black smoke. It was really creepy to see. It was almost kind of like ghoulish, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was really scary and really creepy seeing fire that close to you and that big. That's not, that's uncontrolled and not supposed to be happening. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then, I told Joe, we gotta go. And then he was like, all right. And then we were trying to find our keys on top of that, because we always keep our keys in one spot. We always keep them on the couch, like in a spot, because Colt always gets a hold of our keys and everything. And we always keep it like on, not the couch, but like over in the kitchen. There's this one section where we can keep like the laptop, the keys, and like a little ramekin type thing. And for some reason the keys weren't there. And I was like, Joe, we have to find these keys. And we were running around. I was stressed out. I was, flipping the couch upside down. I was moving stuff, trying to find the keys, and the fire was only getting bigger and bigger and closer and closer. And at one point I thought about just taking Colt out of the car and just making a run for it and forget the car, and just because I can outrun the fire, but the only thing that I was worried about is that in that RV park, it's a circle, like it's a round circle like that. And then it's all RVs around. And then, so it's like a circle like that. And then where the RVs were on fire were right here. And then the exit and entrance is right here. And that's the only exit and entrance. And then everything around that half circle is just RVs. And then the lake is right here. And then behind the RVs over here is just trees and woods and not drivable at all. The only thing that was drivable is the enter and entrance. So what I was worried about is the fire was right here to the left of the entrance, and it was growing and growing. I was scared that the fire would keep going past the exit and entrance, and then it would block us to where we couldn't get the car out of the RV park. And then I was worried about that, but I wasn't thinking about my next plan if that happened. Obviously, if that happened after everything was said and done, then I was thinking about if that happened, I would have done this, I would have done that. And obviously now that I think about it, I would have because there's like the lake right here, and there's like a little place where you can rent kayaks and all that stuff. I would have grabbed one of those kayaks and jumped in the kayak with me and Colt, and Joe would have grabbed a kayak, and then we just go out in the lake. We'd be fine out there. Or just start running through the woods and just keep running, because you can run faster than the fire grows, but we wouldn't be able to drive anywhere. So I was really worried about that. So I was like, Joe, come on, we got to go. As soon as we looked over and we saw how huge that, and I could feel the heat, like it felt really hot, like when you're sitting around a campfire and you just feel hot and you got to like scoot away because it's too hot. And then all of a sudden, embers and ash started falling down like snow. Like it looked like it was snowing. It was coming down all slow like that. And then it was hitting the deck, and it was hitting the top of my car, and then it was hitting the top of the RV. And one went right past my face, and I had to move my face like that. And then I was like, that's when I was really about to crap myself. And I was like, okay, yeah, we got to go. And then we were still looking for the keys. And then I found the keys on the deck. I guess for some reason we were distracted. We were cooking, and Joe had taken his phone and his keys, and he put it on the deck on like a table somewhere. And I found him. I said, I found the keys. Let's go. So we left. So we grabbed the keys, got in the car, took off. We went and we picked up Joe's dad because he lives right in that RV park. He was closer to the fire, so we had to go towards the fire. We honked our horn. He jumped in the car. We took off. We woke up Joe's brother. And then we rode, as we were leaving the RV park, we just slammed on the horn to try to wake as many people up as we could, just honking, honking, honking. And then we got out. And then as soon as we got out, we turned the corner to where like the parking lot was. And then we pulled up in the grass field. But where the parking lot is and the grass field, there's literally a highway right there, or like a road where you could just get out of there. And we were out of the gate of the RV park, so we were totally safe and fine. But we just sat there and watched it burn. And we saw the paramedics and the firefighters and the cops all pulling in as we were pulling out. And then they pulled in, and then they stopped, and they were getting control of the fire. As soon as the firefighters got there, they pretty much took control of that fire. Like, they were on it and they were fast. The first fire department that showed up, they were spraying the fire, and I guess apparently they ran out of water, so they had to call in, more fire departments. And then the other fire departments came in, and they literally had to take their hose, and they had to put their hose into the Lake Conroe lake and then pump out all that water from the lake and use that to spray the fire. And then eventually they got it down to just like smoldering, where it was just like a lot of steam and smoke. And then they were there spraying like hot spots is what they called it. Hot spots to try to keep the fire from restarting, rekindling. And they were there. So when I saw that fire, I called them in at 12:30. I remember seeing my phone and it was 12:30 in the morning. And when they got there, I think they got there like 15 minutes later after I called them. And they were there till like 4 or 5 in the morning, just, still putting it out and making sure it was good and walking around. And then even that morning at like 8, 9 in the morning, there was cops and investigators walking around looking at it, trying to figure out like what started it and what happened and all that stuff. And they still don't know what started it. Apparently it started in one camper, and the people there, they have like a house around here, but they live at their house, but they come to the camper like every weekend just to hang out and have fun, or just for like fun stuff. And it started in theirs, and they weren't even there. They said the only thing that they had on was their AC. Nothing else was plugged in, nothing. And it started with theirs, so we don't really know what happened or how that happened. It's just really weird. They're just chalking it up to as like an accidental fire somehow. And then from theirs, it spread to the one to the left of them, and then the one to the right of them. So it was 3 of them that got burnt completely to a crisp, nothing left. But the one to the left of them was an older lady that lives there, and she's lived there for years and years and years, and that's her home. All her stuff was in there. Her grandchild was with her. All of her grandchild's stuff, and like they had a giant storage thing in the back that all burnt to a crisp, and that's where she kept all of her belongings for her grandchild and all that stuff. So it's really sad, but thank goodness she got out, and her grandson. She heard the bang, and that woke her up, and then she walked out and she saw a giant wall of fire about to touch her RV. So just in the nick of time, she scooped up her grandson and took off. But she's figuring it out right now. The community's coming together and helping her because she is out of a home right now, because that was her home. But I wanted to bring this up because it's just something crazy that happened, and I'd like to talk about it on here because it reminds you about just situational awareness kind of, and how it never stops, even if you're laying in your bed about to go to sleep. Sometimes I feel like, man, I need to sleep with one eye open, because you never know when something can happen. And this isn't even gun related. This was a fire. And it's something that I couldn't stop because it was too big. The best thing to do was get off the X and get out of there. And that just proves that sometimes if you can't do anything, like you can't stop the thread or whatever, then just getting off the X, that is the number one thing to do. And that should be your first thing that you do. And just I'm really happy that I'm kind of like a late night owl, and I'm kind of a late night person. I always have been. I always like to stay up later, and I go for my runs late and all that stuff, and then so I end up going to sleep late. And because if I didn't see that, and I think I was one of the first ones to call 911 is what I was told. So if I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't if I would have went to bed, and I'm a heavy sleeper too, so I probably wouldn't have heard that, then who knows, it could have touched us, you know, it could have gotten to our RV, and who knows, there's a chance I couldn't even be making this video right now, or I would be out of, you know, we would be out of our home, and we would just, it would be fine though, we would figure it out, it'd just be a fresh start. But yeah, it makes me grateful. Also, God looking out, makes me very grateful. But it was crazy. And now every time I step outside, and we live in the woods, so it's a lot like people are camping, and a lot of people do campfires, and they cook on their grills, and then they're always like cooking on their smokers and stuff. But today I walked out and I smelled fire, and I was just like, it was like PTSD, where I started looking around like crazy trying to find a fire, and then I just realized that the neighbors are cooking in their smoker, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna attach a video that I recorded when we got to the field of what it looked like in the park once everything was on fire, and it's crazy. And I'm gonna show some pictures on here of the aftermath. But I just wanted to get on here and just remind you guys that always be aware of everything. If you hear something and it sounds suspicious, like let's say you're getting ready for bed and you hear a bang or you hear something, don't just always assume, oh, it's probably this, and just let it go. Or don't just always think, you know, oh, I'm probably just hearing things. Even if you look crazy, sound crazy, are paranoid, always just, you know, like go look or go check or go, you know, be aware or call out for your loved ones. And like, just always, I think it's better to know what's going on than just assume like, oh, it's probably just nothing, you know. So maybe that's going to protect me from something in the future. It'll make me more aware. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And thank you guys for sitting through this really long video. I know it's long, sorry. And I will talk to you guys later.
Oh my.
Just leave him. Just move the car up a little bit.
It could explode here.
Generator. See the charring on the trees. Charring on the trees is nuts. Then this one was spared by the grace of God, but you can see all the melting on it. It's a buddy of ours. Embers. That already picked up
I
a
guess
few.
after me, 2 other people called them, and then they were like, "Yeah, we got reports." Because what's weird is that my first thought wasn't to call 911. I saw
Bunch
it
of
and I
little
was
stuff like
"Oh, shit,
this.
somebody already